Hey, welcome back to Damn Tasty Vegan. It's your friend Maria Rose. Today we're going to be talking about nighttime leaking with your menstrual cup and what you can do about it. So I've been using a menstrual cup since 2005. At one point I did want to throw it out the window and I stopped using them and started using tampons again. And then finally I learned some tips after just troubleshooting for years and I finally got it to work right for me. I know how absolutely frustrating it is to learn how to use the menstrual cup, and it takes a few cycles to learn how to use it with your body. But before you throw the cup out the window, I want to say that if you're only leaking at nighttime, then don't stress about this too much. You've won most of the menstrual cup battle if you're not leaking during the day. So although it feels frustrating, you're doing a pretty good job. And a little occasional spotting is completely normal with the menstrual cup because sometimes the blood underneath the menstrual cup on the vaginal walls will slide down and it'll look like you're leaking, but it's only a little bit of spotting. So if it's just light spotting here and there, don't worry about it too much. But if you're leaking a lot regularly, day and night, then here's some tips for you. So there are 3 reasons you are leaking at nighttime, and I'll go into more depth in a minute with each one. So the first one is you didn't insert the cup correctly. With inserting the cup correctly, there are 3 things you have to make sure are in place. So the first one is you didn't place it in the right position. A lot of people place the menstrual cup too high up in the vaginal canal and it'll pass right by the cervix and then the cervix will leak right out of it. I used to do this. I used to leak all the time and I wanted to give up on the cup for so long, but I kept coming back to it and eventually learned how to master it. The second one is you didn't get a good suction seal. Nobody talks about this, but this is the secret to getting your cup not to leak. And the third reason is you didn't get it to fully open. Now the second reason your cup might be leaking at night is your cup just reached its full capacity because you're on a heavy day in your cycle, and when you are sleeping you're not able to empty it for 8 hours. Now this is the category I'm in, but I will give you tips on how to prepare for this and how to lessen the mess and the amount that you leak at night. And the third reason you may be leaking at night is because you might need to get a different type of cup. Now don't run out and try to buy a new cup until you've tested all the other reasons you might be leaking a few times. All right, going into reason number 1 why your cup might be leaking, because you didn't open it properly, didn't place it properly. So in order to insert the cup correctly, this takes time, okay? So be patient with it. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your vaginal muscles are completely relaxed, because it's really easy to tense up when you're inserting anything in the vagina and not really even know you're doing it. So you have to relax the vaginal muscles like you're going pee. The second thing you do is to fold your cup. I love to do the punch down fold. So if you haven't seen that before, you just take an edge, push it down like that, and then pinch in the sides. Now gently push the cup up into the vagina until the lip of the cup passes the pubic bone shelf. So now we're inserting it into the opening of the vagina, push it up and up and up and up, up. So once you get up a little bit further into the vaginal canal, there's your pubic bone shelf. So now pretend that my hand is the pubic bone shelf. And after the pubic bone shelf, the vagina opens up into a little bit more space. So we want to push the lip of the cup up into this place because there's going to be more space for it to open up. Again, pretend this is the pubic bone shelf. So you're pushing it up, 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 up into that spot that has a little bit more space in the vagina. Now you need to get the cup to open. Sometimes it doesn't. Your cervix is at the lowest point in its cycle on the first day of your period. So that means that there's not as much room between the cervix and the vaginal opening as other points in your cycle. It gets to the highest point in your cycle when you're ovulating and the lowest when you start menstruating. The first day of your cycle, it may take a while for you to get your cup to open. So to do that, I like to pinch at the base to kind of start to push the air out, and I make this really quick motion where I pinch, I twist up and pull down, and this is all within that space that's above the pubic bone canal. So you're pinching, twisting up, pulling down, and you have to do it like 5 to 10 times sometimes to get it to open. And you really have to get up in there and move things around. You can't be afraid to like get your fingers in there. Once you start to feel it start to open up, you've done this about 10 times, this motion, pinching, twist up, twist down, all the while keeping the lip of the cup above the pubic bone shelf. Once you feel that it's opened, then you want to take like the base of the cup and just barely pinch it as you slowly pull it down so that the lip of the cup rests right above the pubic bone shelf. The pubic bone shelf creates this nice little shelf for the lip of the cup to lay in. So you know it's reached the pubic bone shelf by, if you're like gently pushing it or pulling it down by the stem of the cup, and then all of a sudden it just catches on something, and that something is the pubic bone shelf. So now we have the cup in the right place, the cup's open, cervix is above the cup, you didn't go past the cervix and you're leaking out of it, it's not too high. You should not be able to feel the cup at this point. If you can, it either means that the cup is too big or the cup is too low in the vaginal canal. So at this point, the next thing you need to do to ensure that you don't leak is to get a good suction seal. Nobody talks about this, but what you need to do is expel the air from the cup so that it creates a good suction seal and it won't move as much and it won't leak unless, you know, it gets overflown. So what I like to do is at the base of the cup, I will put one finger on one side, one finger on the other side, and then I'll push in with one finger until it like folds it in like that. And then sometimes you'll hear like a farty queef sound if there's air in it. So that means you expel the air, and that's a good thing. So you push it until you hear that sound. Sometimes you hear it, sometimes you don't, and then you release it. And then you should be good to go. You have the suction seal, you've got the cup to open, and you placed it in the right spot, not too high, not too low. So the second reason your cup might be leaking at night is because you are on a heavy day in your period or you have a heavy flow and your cup just reached its capacity and it just inevitably leaks because you can't empty it for 8 hours. So if this is you and you're only leaking at nighttime and it's usually only on your heavy days, don't stress about it too much, but here are some tips to lessen the mess a little bit. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that the last thing you do before getting into bed is empty your cup. You do your whole nighttime routine, and the very, very last thing you do before you get into bed is empty your cup. So you want to extend the amount of time that you have an empty cup. The second thing you want to do is to wear either a backup pad or period underwear. There are some beautiful period underwear out there now, and they're like super soft and they can hold up to like 1 to like 4 super tampons worth of blood depending on what type of underwear you get. But I love these things. My husband loves them too. He always like rubs them and calls them my sexy underwear. And they make you feel sexy when you're on your period because they're like soft and comfortable. They're not tight around your waist. And so it's super absorbable and it's just a good backup to have when you're on a heavy day. You can also like lay towels down on your bed if you know you're going to leak, which I do sometimes on my heavy nights. And they come in all different shapes and sizes and colors. And my favorite brand is NYX. And they have like boy shorts, they have bikinis like these, they have like swimwear. So I will definitely link that below and you will get a discount if you use the link. Click the link in the description box and you can get some period underwear. So there's no need to stress about leaking at night if you're only leaking at night and it's only on your heavy nights, because it's just inevitable that it's gonna happen because your cup's just gonna reach its capacity. So the best thing to do is just to, wear period underwear and empty your cup right before going to bed and lay a towel down. Because even when I was wearing tampons, I would leak at night, like no matter what I wore, because I have such a heavy flow. You just kind of have to plan for it. Don't throw your cup out. And the third reason you might be leaking at night after trying all of these things is you may just need to get a different type of cup. Maybe your cup is too small and doesn't have a good capacity for your flow, or maybe it's too firm and you can't get a good suction seal, or maybe it's too soft and you can't get a good suction seal, because it all depends on how strong your pelvic floor muscles are. So you may need to try different softness or firmness, size, but don't jump to this point until you've troubleshooted all of the other tips that I've given in this video, because you don't need to spend money unless, you really need to. So for me, I used to leak all the time when I had my Diva cup, because Diva cup was just too firm for my vaginal walls. So once I switched to like a medium soft cup, like my favorite cup is the Super Jenny cup, I finally was able to get a good suction seal and it didn't leak during the day. At nighttime, it's another story. I just have a heavy flow. It's inevitable. So I suggest that you go to the Put a Cup in It website and take their quiz on how to find your perfect cup. And they also have discount codes, coupon codes for certain cups on there, so check that out. If you want to get my favorite cup that I love, I'll link that below, the Super Jenny. This is the Salt cup that I've been showing you. This one was didn't have a big enough capacity for me, and this was a little bit too firm, so I tried the Salt Soft, which I loved. I thought it opened great, it had a great suction, but it just wasn't big enough in terms of the capacity of it. It wasn't enough, or I would have to empty it a lot throughout the day, which got frustrating. All right, so I hope this video helped you out. Please leave me any questions below. I usually try to reply to every question that I get. I love the menstrual cup. And again, if you're only leaking at nighttime, don't stress about it too much. Just prepare for it, especially if you used to leak at nighttime with tampons anyway. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks, bye.